Hey, it's Rachel. Today on Cracker Bible, we are going to be talking about something a little different today, off topic, because today is November 30th and it is a bad day in the United States because a woman who was murdered did not receive justice. Now, for those of you who live outside of the United States, here's the backstory. There's a woman named Kate Steinle. She was walking with her father and a family friend down on the pier in San Francisco, and a man who has been deported 5 times and is a felon had a stolen gun from the Bureau of Land Management in his possession, and he ended up shooting her in the back and killing her on the spot. Now, this is a bad day in America because not only was he acquitted of murder, but he was acquitted of manslaughter. And we need to talk about this because justice was not served. And there are way too many Christians out there that want to go soft on immigration, and they want to go soft on the death penalty because they say, oh, it's unloving or it's unchristian, and Christ would just have his arms open to everybody and forgiveness and love and everything else. And I'm here to tell you right now that if you are against the death penalty, you are on the wrong side of the Bible, okay? There is no bones about it. If you are against the death penalty, you are completely against the laws of God, because God says that if somebody is a murderer, they are to be put to death. Period. The end. You do not accept a ransom for a murderer. They are to be put to death. Not life in prison, not parole, not house arrest, death. You put them to death. Numbers goes on to say you don't accept a ransom for somebody who has committed manslaughter either. They are to go to the cities of refuge. Now, what are the cities of refuge? I have a video about it right here, and I already talked about it way long ago when I first started this channel. You need to check it out. It's about illegal immigration and sanctuary cities. Go check that out. But for a little refresher course, what that is there are 6 cities that were designated as cities of refuge. This is where the term sanctuary cities comes from today. And what they were special cities that if you were convicted of manslaughter, you could live in those towns. But if you decided that you didn't want to live in those towns anymore, the Avenger of Blood could come after you. And if he found you outside of one of the cities of refuge, he could legally put you to death because you weren't abiding by the terms of your court case. Now, one way that you could be free, the only way that you could be freed from living in a city of refuge is if the high priest died. Then you were released, your sentence is over, now you can go back home. But until then, you are going to be sitting in that city of refuge, or the Avenger of Blood is going to come after you and he's going to put you to death. But what do we see today? What did we see today? We see people who want to go soft on immigration. They have anger and bitterness towards Donald Trump and his immigration policies. So to spit in his face, they are going to allow this illegal immigrant, this illegal felon, to walk free. And this woman, Kate Steinle, she gets no justice. There is no justice for Kate. And what makes me so upset is that Christians want to be soft on crime. They are so out of pocket, because Exodus 23 says, "You shall not fall in with the many to do evil, nor shall you bear witness in a lawsuit, siding with the many so as to pervert justice, nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his lawsuit." And that is what people did today. They were partial to a man who is poor because he's an illegal immigrant, and they have issues with Donald Trump. This is a complete perversion of justice. And just to let you know, God does not take kindly to people who pervert justice and allow a murderer to live, period. God is just. God is a just God, and God has standards. And if you don't follow those standards, God has some things in store for you. God always repays. Just remember that. God always repays. So if you live in California here is what you need to do. It is your moral obligation, not only as a Christian, but just as a human being who cares about justice. You need to vote out the judges, the sheriff, the county commissioners, the mayor, who all say that they are not going to follow the federal laws for immigration. Because if this man had been released into the custody of the immigration officials instead of being allowed to be released from jail, prison, and he roamed around for 3 months, Kate would still be alive. But because everybody is so soft on crime and, oh, that's not what Jesus would have wanted, this woman is dead. And her blood is on everybody's hands. If you don't do anything about it, her blood is on your hands. For the people that voted in all of those people, her blood is on your hands. So you need to do something about it. It just makes me so upset because I lived in California for over 10 years before I lived in Las Vegas, and I have walked that stretch of pier where she was murdered that day so many times. And it is just so upsetting, especially because this man admitted that he killed her, but he claimed it was an accident. He admitted to manslaughter, yet he was still acquitted of manslaughter charges. There is no justice, and her blood is on everybody's hands in the city of San Francisco who has gone soft on crime. So again, I want you to check out that video on sanctuary cities. I go more in depth about illegal immigration and what God has to say about it, and best believe it's not good. So check that out, and you know what? Stay tuned for Monday. We are going to be talking more about Genesis and Abraham, but in the meantime, definitely check out one of the playlists up here, another one up here, because we got to put on the full armor of God. Every day there is an attack by Satan, and guess what? The government is not going to have your back. So unless you mount up, put on your gear from God, you are going to be in a scary place. So I know this is not a positive message today, but such is life. I'd love if you would like, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you later. Bye.